Well, the trip's over. It's now time to do the trip home. Started out in the morning at Orlando International Airport. Got on the plane, got my luggage in, all that good stuff. Uneventful. Flew home, and I was starting to think about my entire trip. It was pretty neat. You know, I flew out from Reagan out to Spokane, and Ronan picked me up at the airport, and we started driving. We made our way from Spokane into Montana, and saw some pretty cool sights. I mean, Montana is, backing up a little bit, Idaho is awesome. I mean, it's beautiful. It's dry, sunny, a lot of trees, like these tall pines. I mean, I was there 30 years ago, but I was there in the military and I didn't get a chance to actually look around and see what was going on. But it was beautiful. Got to see Coeur d'Alene and Coeur d'Alene Lake. It's a very, very huge lake in Idaho there, but beautiful. Got into Montana and saw how, like, the western side of Montana is different than the eastern side of Montana, because it was hilly and lush, on the western side, and then towards the central and eastern side, it got very, Great Plains looking, just rolling hills, nothing big, but just started flattening out, you know what I mean? But both sides of Montana were charming, something you just don't normally see landscape-wise on the East Coast. So then we started out our second day going from Montana to South Dakota, and with a little bit of clip into Wyoming, but talking like 20 miles, so really didn't know the difference unless you looked at the map that you're actually going from Montana to Wyoming to South Dakota. Went through a lot of really cool spots in Montana or South Dakota. Yellowstone, Mount Rushmore, Devil's Tower, all those kind of places. I didn't get to see them, but went by them. Maybe another trip we'll make a trip out there just to see those places, but it's like a long string of things, a straight line that you could easily check stuff out like that. But most of South Dakota, though, we were in the dark, when we were driving at night, and so I didn't get to see much. But what I did see, just reminded me a lot of like eastern Montana. And then when we got on the other side of South Dakota, into Iowa and points further south like Missouri and bits and pieces of Illinois and Kentucky. They were all very similar in that they were, your eastern plains states, where everything's flat, everything's green and lush, cornfields as far as the eye can see, just like, your stereotypical thought of what, Iowa and that region would be like, it is what it is. And then make our way down to, like Kansas City area, St. Louis, whatnot. And it obviously changes, to a different beat. You're getting to be more towards the East Coast and more green and hilly, trees everywhere and that sort of thing. Where out west there aren't as many trees, and it is not as green because it's obviously a lot drier out west. But it was cool. We got to see the arch in St. Louis, making our way further south from Missouri into Tennessee. We got that clip of Kentucky there, but got into Kentucky and then into Tennessee. Tennessee is a very, very beautiful state. It reminds me a lot of South Carolina, but obviously a little bit more hilly. But you got all these towns here and there in Tennessee, and your typical southern style state. And then all the fun happened when we got into Georgia. As soon as we got it almost seemed like a light switch went off. As soon as we got into North Georgia, the sun came out. It started feeling like the southeast again. I saw all the southern pines, and car a couple times to get some gas and stopped at Buc-ee's. And it was quite humid. And I said to myself, yep, we're definitely back on the East Coast. Here we go. And then made our way down through Atlanta, Macon, all those spots along the highway there. And then we get into Florida. And Florida, true to form, is way more humid, seemingly. But just warm as Georgia and very sunny, palm trees and Spanish moss everywhere. As soon as you go across the state line into Florida, it's almost like, yep, Spanish moss, you're in Florida. It's like their state greenery, I guess. But didn't see any alligators. And but maybe we'll make another trip sometime. I saw a couple signs for Tampa. Didn't get a chance to get down to Tampa, but we went down there to do the trip from Spokane to Orlando, and that's what we did. We'll come back another time to check out Tampa. But all in all, I really enjoyed the trip. It was very educational, something I wanted to do for, gosh, a really long time. If you ever get the opportunity to do a trip like that, I would highly recommend it. It was a very big learning experience, not only with the ride itself and the scenery that you get to look at, but it also, if you go with, a friend or family member, it's definitely worth the ride because you get to connect. You get some time to chat. You get some time to, just share your ideas and talk and all that kind of stuff. And I went, as you guys know, I went with my nephew, who's very smart, very motivated and honest guy. He's got his head screwed on tight, and he's going to make wonderful things happen with his life. He's just a really likable guy, and it was a very enjoyable time to spend with him, and so I can spend some time with my family there like that. So, but Ronan's settled. He's back in his new condo there in Orlando. So I'm sure he's sleeping today, but he told me he's going to spend time, checking out the area, do some reconnaissance, and figure out where everything is and get settled. And then maybe we'll make another trip down there after a while and have him show us around. And maybe he'll make some connections so we can get into Disney or Universal at some point. But that's it. Just wanted to share a couple last minute go home thoughts. I'll be home in about 10 minutes. Just give you some stats on the trip. The total trip from Spokane to Orlando was 2,863 miles, according to the Google Maps that we did. My trip, which the total trip going from Delaware to Spokane to Orlando, and then Orlando back up to Delaware, we're looking at 7,575 miles. But do it again. Not today, as I told Ronan, but I would do it again. It was a lot of fun. Maybe a different route, of course, but it's definitely a lot of fun. So, like I said, if you get the opportunity to do it, go and do it. But this concludes this video series of Spokane to Orlando. Peace out.